This is Football Primetime. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my co-host, AJ Dean. Sam is also here. He's having some mic issues, but we wanted to obviously get started, get going. He's going to fix it behind the scenes. Sam is a whiz, so we do expect to hear him on the show. But, AJ, week 14, right? We're at 14. Craziness. Yeah. The NFL season has flown. We obviously weren't able to get to the show earlier in the week, but just the results from week 13 were, kind of as we expected. Buffalo beating New England on Thursday night, Tampa continuing to roll on Monday night, and then those Sunday slate. The only one that was maybe a little surprising was Dallas blowing away Indianapolis. I don't even know if that's more surprising. Cincy's had Casey's number for a while, and the Jets obviously losing to Minnesota. We kind of assumed Minnesota would be a better team. I thought the Jets.
Oh boy. I think we're having all sorts of technical difficulties here. Looks like Billy just lost his internet, so I'm rolling solo here. Yeah, so I think for me, some of the shockers, LA and Las Vegas.
Sorry, Edge.
I think LA. No worries. I think LA losing that game against Las Vegas was a little bit of a shocker, just the way that Vegas was playing. I agree with you. Since he's had Casey's number for, I think this is Burrow's third win against them in a row.
Yeah.
Which apparently hasn't happened to Mahomes in his career yet, which is impressive. But yeah, I think overall, the slate went as we thought. We knew that the Jets game against Minnesota was going to be close. A game that they should have won if Berrios didn't drop that ball in the end zone. But yeah,
you get the NFC East tie with Washington, New York, which I heard some people saying that wouldn't it be cool if you had a second game where that deciding whoever won that second game, they actually won the tie, which would be funny, but obviously the NFL's never going to do that.
I think it's the dumbest thing that they have ties in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Just do what college does. Like
just line it up on the 20, score.
Yeah, they want offense, right? What's the best way? Overtime, right? Instant offense right there.
Yeah. The first tie you get during the season, you're always like, oh, that's funny. Like the NFL ties, some of these players don't even know you can tie, which is crazy. And then the second tie, you're like, eh. The third tie, you're like, oh, this is worse. I could completely understood that it's, it was a crazy week. But we get to week 14, and you start to have, Thursday's matchup with the Rams and Vegas, and the Rams. Baker Mayfield gets those 2 touchdowns kind of at the end of the game. They played like dog crap for the first, 45, 50 minutes, and then they came back and then won 17-16. Today's matchups. My Jets, our Jets, my Jets, your Packers. Buffalo is I can't see them. Tickets as low as $62. It's supposed to be free, cold and snowy. So I do expect a more tame game, something, maybe 17-14 or 13-10, right? But I just don't think that it's on the Jets' card to win this game. I think that they got there for if you told me at the beginning of the season you'd split with Buffalo, I'd be absolutely okay with that, knowing that they are one of the top 5 teams. I'm going to go into this matchup expecting to lose, like a typical Jet fan, expecting to lose, but I'll be pleasantly surprised and more encouraged for the future if they're able to get a win in Buffalo with just horrible conditions and this defense coming out and laying the smackdown on a Buffalo team that you're always worried about, but they can, this Jets defense is extremely impressive. They continually play the way they need to. I know, against Minnesota, they had some, cracks, but, Mike White throws 2 picks, and then Mike White didn't have a great game, but he also didn't have a tremendous game, a terrible game. Yeah, exactly. He tried to make plays, which he also threw the ball 57 times. If you think about it, when was the last? I don't think Zach Wilson's ever had more than like 30 pass attempts. I mean, I'd have to look, but
Yeah.
it's crazy that they immediately open the playbook and the offense when either Mike White or Joe Flacco's in the lineup, and it tells you a lot about what they think of their quarterback. So,
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I think this is gonna be a close game. I think that Jet defense, just keeps in it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost, but I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah,
we won, kind of thing. I think we've played
yeah.
Buffalo well in the past couple years, just overall.
I don't think it's
Um,
been great the last. I don't know. I'd have to look, but I thought that Buffalo smacked us around a bunch of times
Last year.
last year. Um, but yeah, I mean, listen, they played them tough the first game, which all it matters is the present, right?
Yeah.
They were able to come in and show you that they're an impressive team. All right, so here's the last. So Buffalo last year they lost 45-17 in week
Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
10, and then in week 18 they lost 27-10. Not that's not a
Closer.
smackdown, but Wilson 87 passing yards in week 18, Wilson in week 10. Oh, it was Mike White in week 10, 251 yards. So Wilson's done jack shit
Nothing.
against
Yeah.
Buffalo in his pretty much in his career. It's just amazing. Here in 2010,
All right.
just because we're on this, 2010 was Buffalo. They lost 18-10 in week 7, and then in week 1 they lost 27-17. So yeah, they're 1-4 in the last 5 games.
All right. But I mean, other than the blowout, I feel like they've played them somewhat close.
Yeah, I
Somewhat.
mean,
Within two scores.
somewhat. Yeah, they're within 2 scores. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to live with it that way, it's actually
Still.
they're also. I'm looking
So,
back even further just because it's crazy. All right. So they got a week 17 win in 2019, 13-6. Buffalo scored 6 points.
it's a barn
That
burner.
was Sam Darnold. Yeah, that was Darnold. Wow, they had a week 1 versus Buffalo and then a week 17 versus Buffalo. Anyways, all right, we're getting past
Getting down the
where we
rabbit
need to
hole.
go. Yeah. Listen, this, like I said, I expect the Jets to play competitive. It would be awesome if they can get a win. I'm not looking that that's going to happen, but it'd be pleasantly surprised. The
Mm-hmm.
remaining games: Giants at Philly. Philly at the Giants. I wish Sam was able to come in for this, but he's still having some technical issues. But listen, Philly is a beast. You're expecting that the Giants can come in and play competitive, keep within a score, and win. Really, the Jets or the Giants. The Giants need to come in and get the lead early, and then just use that defense to kind
Yeah.
of ride them out. I think that's the only way. They're not going to get in a scoring match with, especially with the wide receiver depth that they have, or no depth that they have.
Mm-mm.
I can't see that that's anywhere conducive to a smart way of playing the Eagles by a barn burner.
Yeah. Yeah, that defense has to step up tonight, especially
Yeah.
against Jalen Hurts, Adrian Brown, and Devonta Smith. Those three big weapons. You gotta make sure you're containing Hurts, so he doesn't get
Mm-hmm.
outside the pocket and can make plays with his legs. You know, for somebody that was thinking that Philly was, had a cakewalk of a schedule, they played really dominant over Tennessee last week, and I think
Yep.
really cemented that they are probably that number one team in the NFC. So this will be a big, big win for the Giants, and
And
the push that they need for the playoffs.
yeah, and also, with Washington on bye this week, they're 7-5-1, Giants 7-4-1. If they tie, or if they get a loss and they go to 7-5-1, they're tied for that last playoff spot at seventh playoff spot. And really, it comes to that matchup between Washington and New York in 2 weeks. But they're in the 6th place, Cowboys in the 5th, and then obviously first is the Eagles is 11-1. The NFC Beast, they've said it. It's very competitive. Seahawks at that 7th spot, and then in the AFC you have obviously Buffalo, KC, Baltimore as those top 3. Tennessee is at the 4th spot, and then you got Cincy, Miami, and the Jets at 7. Patriots are right behind us at 6-6. We're 7-5, and I know that I don't expect a win today from the Jets, but if they do, they're showing themselves pretty well for a playoff spot. So
Yeah.
Patriots obviously Patriots have at Arizona at the Monday night game, which I'd expect the Patriots to get a win, but maybe Cliff Kingsbury and his Madden playing quarterback can do something good.
Can dial something up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's looking tougher, I think, for the Jets. Just with that both those losses to New England, those both crush their wild card chances, in that tiebreaker with them, just with them hanging around. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see, kind of how today shakes out for both New York teams. Um, two big divisional games for both of them, two rivalry
Yep.
games. It'll be fun and exciting.
So I wanted to quickly go through the rest of the slate. Cleveland at Cincy. Cleveland seems to have Cincy's number, and I like to think that Burrow tries something this behind him and just tries to keep beating teams and getting a better seed. But like I said, Stefanski seems to have Zach Taylor's bag. So I expect a close game, even though that quarterback that no one wants to talk about had a crappy game last week.
Yeah.
I would expect him to start getting a little better. All right, so Houston at Dallas, 17.5-point spread, absolutely crazy number. I expect Dallas to rout them. I don't think it's going to be close. And, I would imagine that, Dallas is running into, I forget, does Dallas and the Eagles still have one more match? Yes, they do. That's in 3 weeks. So, all right, so 2 weeks after this. Jaguars next week for them, and then the Eagles. So if they can get a win, Texans, Jaguars. The Eagles' schedule, by the way, is. Give me a second here. I just had it and then I lost it. The Eagles' schedule. Sorry, at Giants, then at Bears. So you're looking at a possible matchup where the winner of that game in 2 weeks is the divisional leader.
Yeah.
It's Dallas is cooking. I don't expect anything from Dak Prescott. I don't think he's a good quarterback. A great quarterback, I should say. I think he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. That running game is where it's going to be with Pollard and Zeke, even though I think Pollard's the best there is on that team. And it's going to be a fun game to, in that 2 weeks when we're talking about it. But this Houston game is not going to be fun. They have, Davis Mills is back. They're without their two top pass catchers. You have Dameon Pierce, who, unless you can get the pass going, he's struggled a little bit recently. This is going to be a blitzkrieg.
I would expect, obviously Prescott to be launching the ball to Lamb, as he usually does, and that combo of Pollard and Elliott just, running down their throats. And yeah, I mean, it's Houston is like I hate to say it's like a NCAA team, right? They're should be playing.
I mean, I always think this is stupid, but would you think that Georgia could give them a pretty good game?
I mean, my brain would say no, but just because they're professionals and the other guys aren't.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody's a professional versus you might have like a shitty wide receiver as like the 5 spot for Georgia. Yeah, it's just you look at this team and they're so bad.
I mean, it's a good question.
It would be funny.
I guess the biggest thing would be seeing like how many of Georgia's players actually that play actually go to the league. Because if all 22 starters, right?
Amount.
If all 22 starters, make it to the league, whether it be in a few years or whatever, like I think there's some credence to that then, because it's like all of them are playing, all of them are professionals.
But yeah, I mean it's some dog shit out there. But all right, so Minnesota. Now this is the crazy game where everybody looks at they're like, is Vegas playing a trap on us? And it's Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit has -2 on their ledger. Detroit is the favorite. You're expecting a 10-2 team in Minnesota to be a favorite anywhere they go. That's not
Yeah.
the case. Every underlying metric says that Minnesota should not be 10-2. They're a middle of the pack team. Every other metric says that Detroit at 5-7 is a little better than they are. I don't think they're playing a trap. I just don't think Minnesota's getting the credence they deserve. I think Minnesota is a very good team. I know that they're the quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Everyone's worried about him, but they have an elite wide receiver. They have a very good number 2. They have an elite running back. They have a very good defense. And
Yeah.
Detroit's Detroit, and they're about to get this heap and praise, saying that they're better than a 10-2 team. I think that comes back to haunt them. I think that Minnesota wins this game. I would take the points, at Minnesota +2, and I would be happy with that being my outlook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, just the way that Detroit's playing offensively, right? That's kind of why I think they're, getting that -2 and being at home.
Yeah.
I think this is at Minnesota. They're obviously not favored at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think Minnesota's had some struggles here and there, even though with the weapons.
Yep.
I don't think their running game has been all that great. With Cook, they've been utilizing their weapons at wide receiver.
Yeah.
In Jefferson and what he's done and stuff like that. So I think the defense obviously played well against the Jets last week, and they've played well. They kept them in games when they needed to keep them in games. It is crazy though that their point differential is only looking at it now 10 points for against their points against being scored.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like ranks last against all teams that have been 10-2 all time. They rank last by 30 or 40 points. That second bet or second worst 10-2 team had 30 more points scored over points again. So it's a crazy stat. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Minnesota's a good team. With all those weapons, things like that, and being a little disrespected.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so Jacksonville, Tennessee, no one really gives a shit. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. This game is going to be so ugly. You have Tyler Huntley. This really, it's just running game versus somewhat running game from Pittsburgh. I don't like either quarterback. Kenny's. Kenny is not someone that I think is going to be a very good quarterback in this league for Pittsburgh. And yeah, this game just reeks awful. KC at Denver. KC's down a wide receiver. Denver is just, I mean, Russell Wilson, they're going to have to figure something in this offseason. Either he goes or something happens, because Denver has such a good team, and the quarterback's the only thing keeping them back, which is amazing to say that Russell Wilson's the dread on your team.
Yeah, you wonder if it's Hackett and him, like his relationship together.
I mean,
or what?
I guess you got to fire your coach before you fire your quarterback, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Nathaniel Hackett has not been good either. So I could see both. Both of them. Ship them out. See you later. The Walmart crew has not, probably is not very happy about this. KC, I mean, I know they're +10. I actually think that Denver maybe keeps this close.
Oh no, I could see this being
You think so?
blowout.
I think Denver's defense last week was ridiculous, and they still lost, and they did everything they could to win that game for them. I think that Denver's defense continually does it just because they're trying to show that they're a top end group. So
I just think after so much, it just like that defense breaks, carrying that team, some of that,
we do have Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Indy, New Orleans, and then we said Washington's on break this week. Carolina at Seattle, no one really gives a darn about. Miami at the Chargers. We'll talk about San Fran and Tampa in a second, AJ. That's why I hold off on that.
Mhm.
Miami at Chargers. That's the 8:20 night game. I feel bad for Justin Herbert. I really do. I think that it's a shame that him and Philip Rivers have kind of just stalled on a team that can't seem to get out of their own way, whether it be injuries or just poor decisions. And I think that Miami goes in there and they get a win, but Justin Herbert is so talented and so good, and you just kind of feel bad that he's in this kind of malaise with this team.
Place. Yeah. No, I agree. As you said, injuries have been kind of the factor this year,
Yeah,
right? I don't think they've
offensive
had
line
Mike Williams.
always.
Well, but I don't think they have had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen together
You know,
right this season.
yeah, it might have been week
Um,
one. That was about it. Yeah,
so
it's
it's
crazy.
tough. I mean, they have the weapons when everybody's healthy, and you've seen it right with the way that Herbert can make plays and the way the check downs and the passes to
Yeah,
Eckler and so they have the weapons. It just if this team can be healthy and they have a good defense,
yep.
in that line and Bosa and um so yeah, I mean it's funny, yeah.
They're
Two
without Derwin
quarterbacks so
James,
far
which sucks.
being snake bitten. No,
Yeah,
it definitely sucks.
yep. I'd like I said, I mean, you agree? You think that Miami gets this win?
Yeah, I mean I can see it being close just because of Herbert and what he can do. Um
Yep.
but yeah, I see this more as a one score game, going into the fourth.
Yep. Um. All right. Last game of the slate, and the interesting game to me. I know that San Fran is getting all these props, and rightfully so. They're a good team,
Hmm.
but they have Brock Purdy at quarterback, and I just it's Tom Brady. Tampa's playing a little bit better as of late. Uh, three of the last four. I know they lost to the Browns 2 weeks ago, but they beat a Rams team, which stinks. They beat a Seahawks team, which has been, has come back and shown some life behind Geno Smith. They beat a Saints team with a very good defense, 17-16. If can you think Brock Purdy can secure a win at home versus Tom Brady? You think Mr. Irrelevant
I
can get it done?
I think he can, only because of the way that offense plays. I don't think it really calls for the quarterback to be a game manager for the most part. That offense, yeah, he's got to make some
Yeah,
throws here and there. But Tampa Bay doesn't scare me. If it was an Eagles team, if it was the Jets team, throwing in the Jets there just because of the defense. If it was a team with an elite defense, I think I would be, saying it's the other team, it's going to win the game. But
yep,
Tampa Bay, especially last week, they should have lost that game. So I think San Francisco, especially at home, can get it done. Against Tom and the Bucks.
yeah. Um, all right. I mean, I don't see how Brock Purdy gets this done. I am a little worried. I think the Bucks do get the win, and if I see the Bucks get a win here, I'm starting to think that maybe that at I think right now they're 6-6. Not only do they win the division, there's a path that they could get pretty decent up in the NFC
Yeah.
standings, and they have the Bengals, but they have Cardinals, Panthers, Falcons. That's another 3 wins I expect, and who knows what happens with the Bengals. But yeah, I don't know. I think that they can definitely get something going here, and Joey Bosa's back. I know that the defense might beat the Bucks by itself. I understand that, but it really depends on what Mr. Relevant, the 7th round pick. Is he the next coming of Tom Brady? I don't think so, but what can he do to kind of help out with that? So very interesting. We will see what happens. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to the slate. I think that we have, some very good games today. I expect, to go out and you know enjoy this week. So I know that. You got anything else? I know Lamar's missing the next 2 games. Barkley, I know that he has some neck issues, and I think he's out or he's 50-50 to play. But anything else, AJ? You think?
No. Like I said, I think the slate's got some interesting matchups for sure this week. Especially with all the teams that are on bye, they're kind of teams you don't really care about necessarily. Other than the Commanders, kind of being in the hunt. So I think they're all interesting matchups. All teams that can have some implications and stuff like that. So
There he is, Mr. Wu.
How are you? How's my levels? Is it okay?
It's a little low.
A little
we
low.
Can hear you.
Little low? All right, I'm still working on it. Keep going because you mentioned about Barkley. That's why I keep
Yeah,
on.
50-50 to play. Yeah,
How do
just
I
I guess
sound
the
now?
neck injury, right?
Do I sound okay now?
Yeah, it's getting a little better. It's still a little low, but
How about now? How about
good.
now?
Better.
You're better.
Did that go?
Yeah.
That's the best I could do, I think. Hold on. How about now?
Well,
Or is that too
that's
loud? All right, hold on. Hold on. How about now? Is this
Everybody,
good?
good. This works. How about now?
How about now? How about Saquon Barkley get in the game and win? How do I sound now?
Yeah.
Pretty good? All
Yeah.
right.
I think
Well,
you're right.
I
I think
finally made it
Saquon has to
work.
play. Yeah, I think
Well,
he
he has
legitimately
to.
has to play.
If he wants a big contract, he better play. He better put a brace on that neck and run.
Sir.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But
That's good.
like you said, good slate of games. I think that you had the Saints players. I think it was Saints coaches were fined by the NFL for that fake injury delay. But I think there's a lot of guys out, but I think it's going to be a fun slate, and I really expect something good to happen. So, AJ, you got some trivia before we head out?
I do. So I'm kind of going through some now. So.
Double split.
So, obviously, Joe Burrow has kind of Patrick Mahomes' his number.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow is not only the first quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes 3 times, but he's also the only one to face Mahomes multiple times and be undefeated against him. Burrow and one other quarterback are the only quarterbacks to beat Mahomes 3 times. Can you name that other quarterback?
Beat him 3 times? I mean, Brady? Has he beat him 3 times?
Yeah. Yeah, so Brady's 3-3 against him.
Yeah, I was saying
Burrow
he's lost a couple times,
whatever.
but yeah.
Nick Foles.
Not bad. Yeah, not big. Yeah, not Nick.
Oh, okay.
All right, Sam, let's get us out of here. I got to go swim class.
I just got here. Oh my goodness! All right.
Well, if you and AJ want to talk, you could cut me out.
All right, but honestly, do I sound okay? Because I just rigged up something. I didn't think it would work.
Yeah, I think it
Still
sounds
a little
pretty good.
low,
It's a little low, but yeah.
How about
Yeah.
now? Is this the
Yeah, there you go. I like
spot?
that volume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
You like that volume? All right.
Not
All right,
bad,
so I'll
Sam.
keep it here.
You're a beast.
Oh, and my wife that's listening at home, I took 2 years to try to figure this out, and I finally figured it out here on Football Primetime.
That's
Anyway.
good.
All
I'm glad
right.
we can help you.
Cool. All right, thanks. All right, AJ, this is what's going to happen. Penn State's going to win the national championship next year,
Ooh.
and the Giants will win the Super Bowl next year. So whatever happens now, happens now. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Want to thank all those tuning in. Billy Dean's got to go.
Yep.
It's going to be enjoyable Sunday. And, yeah, I think Giants-Eagles, those games are always brutal. Why they're brutal?
Always brutal. NFC Beast.
NFC Beast.
Yeah. And something will happen. Will there be another miracle? I don't know. Till next
Call
time,
for the tie.
this is Football Primetime.